Right, translating conic sections, write the equation of an ellipse with center -3, -2, vertical major axis length 8, and minor axis of length 6. So with this one, they give us all the information we need. We don't have to do much work here. For an ellipse, what comes first in an ellipse? In the equation, what do we say has to come first? X has to come first, always. X and Y don't switch. So we know it's in the form of x squared over something, then what?
Y squared.
I know what goes in between.
Plus.
Right? Ellipse is always plus. Y squared over something equals 1. That's standard form. So all we got to do is figure out these somethings. And we get these somethings by finding the major axis, or seeing that the major axis is the vertical. So the vertical is which one?
Y.
The Y. So the entire length is 8 units.
So that means.
But we don't want the entire length. We want half the length, which is what?
4.
4 units.
Square that?
And you square it and get what?
16.
16. And that goes under the Y because it's the vertical axis. Now what would go under the X?
9.
What? 9. Correct. Because the minor axis has an entire length of 6. So we figure out half of that, which is 3. 3 squared is 9. Now, that is if the center was 0, 0. But the center is not 0, 0. So let's go back and do this part. So now the center is starting to move around. So -3 is your x coordinate, so that's going to put me at x plus 3 squared over 9. And -2 is the y, so that would make it y plus 2 squared over 16 equals 1. There's your final answer.
That's all
right
we
here.
have to do?
That's all you have to do.
That's
So if you had wanted to start here with -3, -2, coming up with these two, are we okay with that?
Wait.
Remember, since the center is -3, the equation is x minus h. So we have to do minus a minus, which is plus 3. And same thing, y minus k, so it would be y plus 2.
What equation are we? So it's just x minus h and y minus k.
X minus h squared plus y minus k squared to get the to find the center.
Okay.
But you have that down from the first section.
Oh, so it's the same thing.
Yeah, that doesn't change. But this is the only reason this is new right now is because we've been dealing with center of 0, 0.
Yeah.
So you were used to this right here when your center didn't move from the origin. But now it is moving from the origin. You graph it the same way. Let's go ahead and graph it real quick.
I feel like we've already done this with circles, but now it's just an ellipse.
We have.
Yes.
Like with the different.
Well, I don't know if we've moved circles around.
No, we
Well,
haven't.
actually we did. Yeah, you're right. So your center is -3, -2. So that would be here. And on the y-axis, we go up and down 4, which would put me here and here. And on the x-axis, I go left and right 3. Here, oh sorry, that's not right. Here, and here. And then just draw your ellipse.
What?
Hold on. So there's your ellipse. All right, what's wrong?
I don't understand.
All right, so to graph this, I plot my center, -3, -2,
Oh, and then you just go
Then
up
you-
3.
up 3, and
Or up 4.
up 4, down 4 because it's under the Y,
Okay.
and left and right 3 from the center. And draw
Okay,
your
that's not that
ellipse.
bad.
No,
So that's all we're gonna do.
that's it.
Yay!
All right, next. Write an equation of a hyperbola. This one's a little trickier. Now with hyperbola, we said what switches in the equation?
X and
X and Y can switch.
So you
A
don't
and
know
B
which
stay.
one it is?
What?
You don't know which one it is? Or
We
you
do know based on the information they give us. So what I would do with this one is just go ahead and draw a quick sketch of what you know. Your vertices are 0, 1 and 6, 1. So based on that information right there, just on the vertices, which way do you know that the hyperbola is going to open? Is it going to open left, right, or up, down? Left, right. Okay? So here would have to open here, and we don't have to be exact because we don't have our asymptotes yet. So based on where the vertices are, somebody tell me where the center is. Center
well, it
of
looks
that.
like it's at like 2, 3.5.
3, 1.
3, 1?
Just 3, 1.
Yeah.
Because the distance is
Oh, because it's
0 to 6, so half of that would be 0 to 3. So the center is 3, 1.
So are we
Is that
always
all we have
gonna
to do?
graph them?
No, I got to come up with the equation.
Alright.
All right, so since it opens left, right, yes.
Okay. Are we always gonna graph them and then like figure out where the center is, or is there a way to do that without graphing?
If you can look at the coordinates they give you without graphing, that's fine with me.
But we-
Because nowhere in the problem does it say that you have to graph. But I recommend always drawing a quick sketch. It just helps me to figure things out
Yeah.
and check my work. I mean, if you had told me the center was 3, 1 without me seeing the graph, I may or may not believe you, but I can look at this and tell, yeah, it's going to be 3,
Okay.
1.
Wait, so how do you find the center again?
I saw that the distance from vertice to vertice was 6 units, so the center has to be right in the middle of that, which would be 3 and 3.
Okay.
Okay? So, since it opens left, right, in the equation, what do I know comes first, x or y?
X.
X has to come first, because it's open along the x-axis. So, the first part of the equation would look like this. Try to follow me. X minus 3 squared, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then
Then what sign?
minus
Minus
y minus 1 squared.
y minus 1 squared equals 1. So both of these are over something, so I got to figure out what those somethings are.
Okay, so the 3 and the 1, those are for the center, right? Those show you where the center is of the hyperbola.
Wait, say it one more time?
The 3 and the 1 that we've written already,
Yeah,
those have to do with the center in the equation.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, now along the x-axis, just like we did last night, for our box, we wanted to find the distance from the center to the vertex. What's the distance from the center
3.
to the vertex? 3. So what's that tell me to put under the x part? 9. Because you do a squared. Does that make sense? Now the tricky part is what to put under the y, because I don't have my box drawn. Remember, in last night's, if we had our box, we could figure out what goes under there.
Couldn't you draw a
But-
box?
I'm going to use the rest of my information they give me in the form. Well, I wouldn't know where to draw the box.
That's true.
I'm going to use the rest of the information. They give me the foci to be at, let me go ahead and plot those too. Negative 1, 1, which would be here, and 7, 1, which would be here. What is the foci formula for a hyperbola?
C squared equals a squared plus b squared.
Good. C squared equals a squared plus b squared. And what would c squared be?
Well, a plus b squared, so you have to like do it backwards and plug in c.
No.
No,
We can
that's
figure
not
out
good
c.
at all.
It was C1, because it's the distance.
Would C be 36?
Yeah, I think c
C
is 1.
squared will be 36. Why?
16.
Because you have the
How do you
3,
get that?
Well, hold
the 3
on.
from the center to the vertice, and then the
Oh,
extra
it's
1
the
to
distance.
Right. It's the distance from the center. See, you just told me that the distance from here to the vertex was 3, and 3 squared is 9. So the distance from the center to the focus is 4. 4 squared is 16.
we already know A
Where did you
squared.
get the 9 from though?
We got that over here. The distance from the center to the vertex is 3. 3 squared is 9.
Okay, well, how do you know that's the x value?
Because that's along the x-axis. Okay?
And you said that 9 is a squared because it's bigger?
It doesn't matter in this case. No, in this case it doesn't matter what's A and B.
A and B.
That's for an ellipse where A is bigger. Okay, so now what is B squared?
Well, subtract 9.
And get it?
5.
Yeah.
No, 7.
So, so what goes under here?
7. Don't you have to square the 7?
No,
Yeah,
because
that's B
remember
squared.
that the formula is B squared. We're not solving for B, we're solving for B squared in the equation. Right?
That's a lot of work.
So make sure you don't make that mistake, because I think somebody makes that every year, that they take the square root of that number when you shouldn't be taking the square root. All right, so that's it.
That's it?
So, yeah, basically all you gotta do is, again, I highly recommend you draw a quick sketch. It helps you see things a lot better. Find the distance from the center to the vertex and the center to the foci. All right. One more example.
Oh, no.
And this one, identify that, you probably could look at this one and tell what the answer is, but I'm going to show you how to confirm it. Identify the conic section with the equation,
What
4x
is it?
squared, ellipse, hyperbola, circle, or
Oh,
parabola.
okay.
One of those four.
Only
We know it's not a parabola because
Clearly.
only one of the variables is being squared for a parabola, so we can eliminate that choice. Identify the conic section with the equation 4x squared plus y squared minus 24x plus 6y plus 9 equals 0. Again, you probably could look at this and take a... Yes, we're going to put in standard form. All right? So you got to go back to what you learned with completing the square.
Oh.
All right?
What?
So, what we have to do is get x's, just put the x's together, 4x squared minus 24x, so all I'm doing right now is rewriting it, plus y squared plus 6y, and subtract 9, because we want to get x's and y's by themselves, and get the constant on the other side. So with completing the squared method, remember our leading coefficient for x squared and y squared must be 1, which it is here, but it's not here.
So just
So
divide that
what
by
I'm
4?
I'm not going to divide it by 4, because if I divide it by 4, I have to divide everything by 4, which would really throw me off here. So all I'm going to do is factor a 4 out of this part. Okay, so I'm going to treat that separately.
Okay.
So I'm going to factor out a 4, and I'm left with
X squared minus 6x.
x squared minus 6x. I'm going to leave a space here because of completing the square. Y'all
Can you
remember
have
that?
taken out
Why do you
4x?
have to do that though?
Because we got to put something else in that spot to make it a perfect square trinomial.
Oh, we take
That goes back to what we did with completing the square.
I understand how to complete
I don't
the
like
square, but I
this.
don't understand why.
Because you have to make this a perfect square trinomial. Trinomial means you have to have 3 terms.
Why do we
That's
have
the
to
point of completing the square. So it's factorable.
You have to complete the square to find out what the conic section is.
Right. But we can go back to that. So just try to follow me.
you
So the
take
y's
square.
are okay.
Yeah.
No,
So
you
I'm
have
going to leave a
take
space
one.
there. Now, to find this,
36.
what goes in this space and this space,
We take b.
take b divided by 2, which is -3, and square it to get 9 here. And what would I get here? 6 divided by 2
Oh, we're
is
doing it on that
3.
side too?
9.
3 squared is 9. So that gives me 9 and 9. I'm going to add 9 here. I'm going to add 9 here to make them both perfect squares. Now,
And
whatever
can you
you do to
subtract
one
that?
side,
You gotta do
hold
the
that
other.
thought.
Subtract
Whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other.
So we have
But
8.
remember, this is not really a 9 here. It's really a 36.
Whoa.
So since I'm adding 36
Oh.
here, I have to add 36 here.
Oh my
Wait, what about the other 9?
Whoa. And then, since I'm adding 9 here,
You get another
I have to
9, so
add
you
another
zero that.
9 here.
So really, you just have 36 to the other
Exactly.
side.
Now, this part factors to, does anybody remember?
X minus 3.
X minus 3 squared plus
Y
Y minus plus 3.
y plus 3 squared equals 36. Now can you take a guess on what type of conic section it's going to be?
An ellipse.
ellipse, okay?
Why?
But an ellipse in standard form, because
Oh, because then you divide
these
all
two
by
are
4.
different. Yeah, no. These two are different, makes it an ellipse.
Oh jeez.
If these two were the same, if you had another 4
It'd be a
here,
circle.
then it'd be a circle, which they're not.
And if
You
it's
don't divide by
subtraction,
4, what do you divide by?
36.
36, because for standard form
Oh,
of
'cause you have
an
to get to
ellipse,
1.
it has to equal 1. So we
Alright.
divide everything by 36. So this one reduces to x minus 3 squared over 9 plus y plus 3
Can
squared, oh, hold on, over 36 equals 1. There is the standard form of an ellipse, so you know that's an ellipse.